Hey everyone, it's Mopar Keith with Mopar Joe. Here's a fender tag from a 1968 Barracuda. Lots of paint on it, so we're going to decode this on paper. Alright, and here's one thing that we've done before is we do a rubbing, where you just simply take a pencil and you rub across it, and you can see the letters a little bit better. And Joe actually wrote this out for me so we can read it step by step, and you can see BH23, 41 engine, 5 is transmission, and so on. And the 23 is a 6.95 by 14 white wall tire, 928. It's actually an 8, not a B, so that is September 28th. And the 191 450 is the shipping order number. And then we go to the next row up, and 5 and 8 are for moldings. So we have drip rail moldings and wheel lip moldings, and then the 1 is for a sure grip, and it's also decoded in the build sheet as a 276:1 gear ratio. And then we have the PP1 for the red, B under BS, and U is upper door frame, and the S is for stripe, and number 1 is the black longitudinal stripe. And so that kind of does it for the fender tag. Let's move on to the build sheet where we can be a little more accurate on the codes. Alright, so basically the fender tag kind of took care of the upper row there. We have the sequence number or VIN number, the shipping order number, BH23 for Barracuda 2-door hardtop, F for 318, 68, then we have the plant is B for Hamtramck. And let's start at the next row there, 32 to 34, H5X, that's the bench vinyl seat with a split bench, 41 for your 318 engine, 5 for that 904 torque flight. There's your 401 for the axle. 415 is heater with defrost, and 421 for your radio. That's a AM 2-watt radio. Then the 43 to 44, and it's marked as a 23. That's your tire size again, which we went over in the fender tag. Then we skip down to 456, and 6 designates power steering. Alright, here's another view of the build sheet. We've got 476 for heavy duty brakes. We've got 487 cigarette lighter, 503 for carpet, 550 seat belts are standard, and 480 dual horns are standard. And 2 of the moldings which were covered in the fender tag also, the 53.5 is drip rail moldings, and the 548 was wheel lip moldings. The 623 is heavy duty suspension with no sway bar. 579 is underhood insulation and undercoating. So that pretty much covers the top section of the build sheet. Now we're going to move on to the lower part, and we're going to look up some part numbers. Alright, so in effort to decode this build sheet as accurate as possible, I've got a 68 parts book here, and I'll start with the wheel or the wheel covers. Alright, so you can see the wheel cover right there, which would simply be a hubcap. And in my parts book, I've got, this is a 68, and here's all the wheel caps right here. And right here, so you can see 10. So 0, 1, 0. So there's your wheel cover. This is the Valiant Barracuda and Belvedere wheel cap. So 10, and it's the same as that one right there. So we'll continue to go through and see what else I can get decoded here. The steering wheel and horn ring, and you can see right there a wheel, so that's going to be section 19. So here's section 19, and right here reference number 8 is a wheel. Let's look for a page number. Group 19 steering, And so basically I just found out that this book is inconclusive. There's 19.1, 19.7, we've got steering columns, and then boom. So all of a sudden I'm out of pages. So there's some pages missing in this. So that's why this is so frustrating, is as soon as you think you're onto something, then my book is inconclusive. All right, and here's a breakdown of some exterior panels on the 68 Barracuda hardtop. And each one of these numbers right here stands for a section, a page, and a column, and where that number is going to be found. You take those numbers and then you go to the book, and I'm still learning, so it's going to take a while, but there's a fastback. But that's how you look up the part numbers. All right, and sometimes this stuff doesn't always make sense, or maybe the books are inconclusive. So we've got engine fan for O2 and engine fan spacer. Come over here to the book, and let's get this here. Here we go. All right, so you can see O2. Well, it's 68B or 67A, and that's for a 383 or 440. So that doesn't quite line up with the car that we're looking at. Then we look up fan spacer, and that actually lines up really good. So we've got right there, so we've got 19, 1968, A, and 318. So the fan spacer, that lines up perfectly. All right, radiator hose inlet at 11, and come over here, and we've got part number ending in 11, and it might be kind of hard to tell, but a lot of these prefix, or the last two digits are actually in a bolder print. So there's the 11, 68, A body, and small block. And there's the radiator outlet hose 05, and we come over here, 05, 68, 9, A body, small block. And here's another good part number, carb choke 43, and come over here, and we've got 43, 68 to 69, small block. All right, there is the fender tag and build sheet decode. All right, so I have to give credit where credit is due. Galen Govier with his white books. I've had these for years, like years and years, and then also Dave Weiss. He has just a ton of these books, like encyclopedias worth of books. I have a bunch of those. That's quite the investment. But anyway, there's Joe's 68 Barracuda. I decoded most of the build sheet. There's still some part numbers I wasn't able to find right away, but for the sake of time, that's pretty much it for now. So I appreciate everybody watching, and Joe, I appreciate the collaboration, and we'll do some more. Thanks a lot.